The Steam Spring Sale is here, and it couldn't hit at a better time, smack dab between massive AAA heavy months. Whether it's catching up on your backlog or you're just curious and want to check out something new, there are some serious, historic even, deals to check out. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and here are 15 games worth checking out during the 2025 Steam Spring Sale. Starting off our list is a massive discount on Doom, a historic low at 90% off for $1.99. I don't even know what you can buy for under $2 these days, let alone an overwhelmingly positive rated modern title like Doom. With Doom: The Dark Ages right around the corner, if you haven't had the chance to pick up and play this legendary FPS yet, now is absolutely that time. This game is brutally fun, has some incredible modern takes on classic weapons, and features an excellent single-player campaign to one of the best heavy metal soundtracks in video games to date. It's Doom. Need I say more? What's better than one helping heap of Doom goodness? How about a second deluxe helping? Right now, for $17.49, you can pick up Doom Eternal Deluxe Edition. You can grab the entire base game for $9.99, but the Deluxe Edition not only gives you another fantastic single-player campaign with a banging soundtrack to boot, but access to the entire Year 1 Pass and Battle Mode. That's both pieces of DLC campaign content and a PvP mode that pits two demons against one fully kitted Slayer. The game definitely has a different overall feel compared to its 2016 counterpart, but it still maintains the lightning-fast reaction time and in-your-face aggressiveness we've come to love from the Doom franchise. A game that we've been really excited to check out for a while now is Planet of Lana, a gorgeous puzzle platformer that follows the journey of a young girl and her quirky little companion to help save a vibrant, lush planet from a faceless army hell-bent on extracting every bit of life out of the world. You'll have to solve all sorts of puzzles while carefully navigating dangerous situations using stealth, wit, and quick reaction times. The game looks downright charming visually, and at a historic low of $9.99, if you're in the market for a new puzzle platformer, consider giving this indie title a shot. If you're on the hunt for a casual but fully fleshed out extreme sports game featuring mountain biking, skiing, snowboarding, and even wingsuits, Riders Republic is at a historic low of $7.99 for the base game or $19.99 for the complete edition, which adds more locations in addition to BMX and skate parks. Either way, you're looking at 80% off. You'll compete against over 50 players at a time across all sorts of iconic US national parks, such as Yosemite, Zion, and more, all featuring dynamic weather effects to further change up your experience each time. With a mostly positive rating and said to be one of the best multiplayer extreme sports titles out there currently, this might be a great game to pick up regardless of how much spare time you have to play. Red Hook might not have struck gold like they did with their first game, but Darkest Dungeon 2 is still an incredible roguelike RPG that I've spent hours enjoying. In this sequel, your squad of 4 heroes sets out in a wagon as you navigate strange and twisted worlds. The combat, well, that should feel familiar with turn-based action that's removed all aspects of chance in favor of an incredibly crisp and purposeful token system. The game's progression has also seen a major overhaul with even more focus put on the individual heroes, their backstories, and ultimately, their skill. For $20, you can support a studio that continues to invest in a franchise that helped define the turn-based dungeon-crawling RPG in the modern era, and I, for one, have no problem making that investment. What was an absolute buggy, incomplete mess 5 years ago is now one of the best and most immersive RPGs to date from the magicians over at CD Projekt Red. Yes, we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077, and if you're one of those players that haven't given this game another chance, now is absolutely the time to do it if you've got a couple dozen hours to spare. Dive into Night City, get wrapped up in all the high-stakes drama, build a character to suit your playstyle, and unravel the story you are so abruptly thrust into. At a steep discount and available for $24 for the base game or $43 for the base game and fantastic Phantom Liberty expansion, value's there. If you love exceptional writing, interesting characters, meaningful choices, and an immersive open world that lets you shape your own narrative, Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the game you've been looking for and you're likely not going to see the price drop much lower anytime soon. For me, this is where it all started, Dead Cells. If you didn't know, that was the first game I ever covered as a solo content creator years ago, and it's easily one of the best roguelite Metroidvania action platformers out there. The game is at a deep discount, just $12.49, and if you want hours of interesting weapons, fast-paced action, and some truly remarkable boss fights, then Dead Cells is the game for you. It's transformed over the past few years, with the developers Motion Twin releasing dozens of updates that have introduced new biomes, weapons, enemies, bosses, and more. If you have a Steam Deck, then you are also in luck because Dead Cells was made for that platform. Just be warned, you will lose hours upon hours of your life to this addicting game if you decide to buy. There are games that surprise you, and then there are games that move you, and Spiritfarer was one such game for me. This cozy management adventure game is so beautiful in the way it's crafted that it's almost impossible not to fall in love. You play as Stella, a fairy master that befriends spirits and helps them transition into the afterlife. Along the way, you learn some powerful lessons, and they all hit right in the feels. Add on to that some genuinely good management gameplay where you build your ferry boat, farm, mine, fish, harvest, cook, and explore, and well, yeah, you've got a pretty remarkable game. It's different, more so than most games I've played in the last few years, and for just $2.99, this game is an absolute steal. Some of these sales are just too legitimately good to pass up, and Enter the Gungeon is one of them at 90% off for a mere $1.49. We've never seen the game at this low a price, and for not only being an exceptional bullet hell roguelike that is incredibly beginner friendly, it's also got legs to stand on that has a great overall challenge curve. The Gungeon is a constantly evolving bullet hell fortress that blends handcrafted encounters into a procedurally generated labyrinth, allowing you to choose between one of several Gungeoneers and has you take on all manner of traps, puzzles, and enemies as you push towards the pinnacle challenge and secret floors to test your skills even further. It's got it all, guys. Tight gameplay, increasingly difficult challenges, and more guns than you'll know what to do with. If there's one game series we here at Legacy Gaming will talk about time and time again, it's Remnant, and the studs over at Gunfire Games have delivered on one of the best Souls-like third-person shooters out there, but also a game with some of the most intricate and rewarding secrets we've ever experienced in a game. You'll dive into a whole host of handcrafted worlds with a procedurally stitched together story that allows you to experience new enemies, bosses, loot, and more every time you start a new adventure world or campaign. Each world alone has several potential story outcomes, which ensure the game is fresh each time you play through it as you constantly increase the power and gear inventory of your character. This leads to some incredible build diversity and co-op synergy, and we genuinely can't recommend this game enough. Right now, you can get the first game, Remnant from the Ashes, all of its DLC, Remnant 2, and all of its DLC for $45. We are talking hundreds of hours of gameplay here, and if you have a friend or two that haven't given this series a shot yet, you'll all get to experience what is one of our top 5 favorite series in gaming, period. And that is something we think is incredibly special. System Shock was one of the first games ever made in the FPS genre in 1994, and is certainly responsible for the birth of a whole subgenre. It's an iconic game, but one likely many have never played. This full remake of System Shock delivers modern graphics and changes the extremely outdated controls to something much more sleek, leaving everything else regarding the gameplay and art style nearly untouched from the original. It's not by any means a new crazy gaming experience, but more of a joyride through the past that got us to where we are today. If taking on a psychotic rogue AI hell-bent on using her new army of mutant cyborgs to wipe out humanity sounds like a fun time for you, then we definitely think it's worth the pickup at $14.79, a cool 63% off during the Steam Spring Sale. 7 years after its initial release, Red Dead Redemption 2 remains just as popular as it was when it was first released. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw on the run from federal agents and bounty hunters, all looking to put you in the dirt. As one of the premier open-world games, it's hard to argue that Red Dead didn't set the bar high amongst a sea of AAA giants that have all looked to claim this genre as their own. From its immersive storytelling to systems that just feel right, the game is a masterpiece, plain and simple, and whether you're looking for a solid story to throw yourself into, or the loads of side activities that will keep you busy for hours on end, Red Dead 2 delivers. If you are someone who still hasn't played this game, well, you can get it for just $14.99, its lowest recorded price, and it's worth every penny. When we initially reviewed High on Life from the Wild Minds over at Squanch Games, we had very few bad things to say about it. The comedic experience was top-notch, the dialogue kept you constantly engaged in the narrative, and the overall gameplay loop felt just right as you interacted with your deranged talking weapons. Our main complaint was that for a $40 game, it was only about 6 to 7 hours long and lacked any replayability past that point. We found it incredibly fun, but it probably wasn't worth the full price then. Well, now you're in luck, because during the Steam Spring Sale, it's 50% off at an all-time low of $19.99. I think at this price, it's a lot more of a stomachable experience, but who knows, you might want to wait a bit longer, and we understand that. Just know we totally recommend this hilarious Rick and Morty-like adventure. For those who are either already fans of Warhammer 40k, or have just been itching for a place to jump into this lore-rich universe, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is easily the most faithful and immersive Warhammer game to date, and currently on sale for just $38.99. You play as Lieutenant Titus, a Space Marine and the embodiment of superhuman skill and brutality. You and your squad will embark on a roughly 10-hour campaign, but there is also deceptively more story content within the operation missions. These tie directly into the story, taking on different perspectives of other squads during key story moments, and also features their own class and weapon progression as you attempt these on higher and higher difficulties. When you're bored of the PvE, you can also dive into some classic arena-style PvP, again with its own progression system. The game is solid, and Saber has promised constant updates with new content completely free. Even though this one isn't massively discounted, at this price the game is a total pickup in our eyes. If you're into horror games, then check out Still Wakes the Deep, on sale for $17.49, a new historic low. In this game you play as Kaz McLeary, an electrician on a damaged oil rig in the North Sea. During operations, the team disturbs a strange, monstrous entity, and throughout the course of the game, it slowly takes over the rig. You're going to have to navigate collapsing environments while trying to save yourself and uncover the mystery of this dark secret lurking beneath the ocean's surface. This game is not one for the faint of heart, so play at your own risk. So there you have it, 15 games that are an absolute steal during the Steam Spring Sale. If you appreciate videos like this, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'll be back later with the Steam Summer Sale video coming later this year. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.